Hello, everyone. Welcome to my talk. Today, I'm going to be talking about career paths as a software engineer, and specifically with the point of view of the choices between the IC and EM track. So this is me, I'm Elaine. As you can see, I am actually on the IC track. I'm a senior staff engineer working at Sphere. So why even talk about career path? When you're in software development, I can see two main objectives. The first one is for the company. It's very good for the company to have really explicit expectations for positions either on the IC track or EM track. And for the individual, for the employee, it's very good to be conscious about your current skills, what you're capable of, and how you can grow. And when we talk about career path, in general, we talk about those famous two tracks that I'm going to be explaining just after. And then the level you can estimate with the level of impact that you have on your environment, on your team. So the first thing that I wanted to explain very briefly, because I don't have a lot of time, is actually what it is. I've been saying IC and EM. So IC stands for individual contribution. This is basically when you pick the track that is more about tech expertise, about hard skills. And then you have the engineering manager side, where it's more about people management and organization. So from now on, I won't be saying those very long words. I'm only going to be saying IC and EM. So IC is a bit more tech, and EM, more people management. So please keep that in mind. And then, as I said, in order to evolve, in order to progress on your career, either on the IC or on the EM side, in general, of course, you grow on your career, you acquire skills, so you grow on your position, you have better positions, but there's a common agreement that one of the most important things that you have to measure is the impact that you have with your position. So it starts with your own, when you're on the beginning of a career, you're a junior software developer. You have to basically manage yourself and your skills. You grow your skills, and then you have maybe more impact on your squad, on your tribe, on your company, etc. And this is a kind of hot topic right now. We've been talking about career and positions and really trying to explain how companies, they are trying to apply the frameworks and models. I just want to shout out the very cool French community, awesome French community, because we have been seeing very recently a lot of talks at meetups. So here in Paris at POG, in Nantes, in February this year, we had some talks about that, and earlier this month at the Vox, we also had some talks about that. Of course, this is not extensive at all, just to say this is a hot topic. And even a more structured literature, we have been seeing actual books that have been written about that are quite recent too. You can see two books here are about the EM side, and two books around the IC side, very good books. And yeah, so just so you know, very hot topic. Companies, as I said, they have been talking about how they have put in place frameworks and models to basically explain so people can grow on their careers. So you can see I'm not going to be explaining those. In general, along with these diagrams right here, there are extensive blog posts that explain into details what is the expectation for each level. So I really encourage you to take a look at that. And even we can go further. There are actual tools that have been made in order for companies to use them. You can see there's a bunch of examples of companies that are using, for example, here on the video, you can see progression.fyi, and LearnBly, there is also another tool. So, enough about other people, enough about other companies. Let's talk about me, and let's talk about my career. So, as I said, I work at Sphere. And this is basically what my career has been like so far at Sphere. I joined Sphere in 2013 as a developer. And as you can see, I was a developer until 2018, where I got an actual promotion to become what we call today a Sphere, an engineering manager. And later, back in 2022, I got a promotion to become a senior staff engineer, so basically developer on the individual, basic junior and then individual contribution. Then I switched to DM and now back to IC. But you can see there's kind of a problem here because you don't just stay a developer for so many years. But what I wanted to highlight here is that at Sphere, we don't actually have promotions on the lower levels. Of course, I got, don't be sad for me, I got a raise, I got on my salary. I got better and better impact on the company, but my actual position at the company on the paper was actually always a developer. So how did I become from developer an engineering manager? Of course, you know that this didn't happen very quickly. I actually had several activities that I did inside of the company. As I was growing older and having more technical skills, I was working with sales in some projects. So you can see back in 2016, I started working with sales and then more and more. I launched a study group where I was organizing it, mentoring people, but also actually doing stuff. So actually also doing EM and IC side, also organizing internal events, talking at internal events. I didn't finish. You can see right here that the arrow ends basically on 2020. This is basically because of this, because of things that I did, because I liked it. I got to be involved in an official role inside of Sphere. Basically, I was the main organizer of the mobile community activity at Sphere, but also contributing to the actual content, so doing EM and IC stuff. And you can see right on the bottom of the slide, I wanted to highlight, you know that during 2020, we had a really big event that impacted our lives and our companies. So it just happened that at Sphere, we had a lot of people that were between contracts. In 2020, I was an EM, and I wanted to highlight that I had a really good activity back then. I'm really proud of that, what I did as an EM and the projects that we could make then. Also, you can see that in 2014, I got certified as a Scrum Master by Sphere, with Sphere. And in 2022, I actually got, after having several years of practice as an EM, I got actual official management training by Sphere, just as I was quitting the job. But of course, I think it's actually helpful for anyone. So yeah, just funny thing. So yeah, I was a EM for several years at Sphere, but what does it mean at Sphere? Because Sphere is an agency. So on the paper, we have 2 days per month to do all your EM stuff. You have a team, you have to take care of them, you have to follow up with them, do one-on-ones, organize gatherings, organize meetings, and conducting evaluations and so on. And the rest of the time, you're actually with the client, and most probably, you're on an AC role. And I just wanted to point out, I had a really good time. Okay, and, as a EM at Sphere. But what EMs in general is at Sphere, we always say, okay, we have 2 months a month to work on that, but of course, you just don't turn off your EM side and you say, okay, now I'm going to be completely focused on the client and develop and be really productive. No, you're always on call. You're always having this background process of maybe someone is going to call you because they have a problem, someone from sales is going to be talking about preparing someone for an interview. So yeah, of course, again, I said I really had a good time on that, but it's basically, with this role, but it's basically having 2 full-time jobs. So just to keep that in mind. So this was on the Sphere side, but as I said, on the client side, I was mostly on my career working with IC roles, Lately, on my latest clients, I had a kind of a mix on my previous one, and on the very later one, my actual job at the client is a full EM role. So in more detail, the very first one is really kind of complex to explain because we're doing a lot. I was actually very junior, but so I was learning a lot. As you could see, I got the certification as a Scrum Master. So yeah, I could even say that maybe we had some kind of PO or proxy PO back then. It was very interesting for us. But then on other clients, I put here there was an Android developer. Maybe I could put a lead Android developer as well. And then in one client, I joined the core team where I actually was organizing meetings with the Android community and basically doing all the synchronization. So I consider this to be a more EM role. And the very last client that where I am, I'm working with chapter leads to actually be good chapter leads, so I consider this to be completely a EM role. I have not coded a single line of code at my current client since October, since I joined them last October. And you can see on the bottom, again, Sphere is an agency, so we work with a bunch of clients. From 2019 forward, I have worked with clients to help them with very specific problems, highly technical problems that they had. So you can see this is kind of the behavior that you expect from a staff or a senior staff engineer. So you can see that I was doing that since 2019, constantly. Life doesn't end at the company. So I was also working on a lot of side projects. So I consider them to be basically all IC, all technical. You can see 2016 was a really busy year for me. I was doing a lot of stuff. I actually don't know how I was doing so many stuff because they were really big projects and really impactful. I enjoyed working on all of those, and I think I learned a lot, and it was a really cool period for me. And you can see, of course, when you evaluate your career, you have to take into account every aspect of your life, so side projects as well. As I'm doing right now, I have a career as a speaker. I actually started right here, my career as speaker at Android Makers 1, back in 2017, talking about the Google Assistant. It wasn't actually here in Montrouge, it was in Paris, but at this conference, so it's really cool for me to be talking about that. And you can see here actually all the participations that I had as a speaker at Android Makers. I either talked about Google Assistant or Flutter. So in 2018, I got a title from Google, which is the Google Developer Experts, which basically is a title that Google gives to people that are really active in the community. 2020, I got the Flutter GDE as well. And then the very first one that you can see only the screenshot of an app, it was actually, the app clinic that they do where they review your app. I don't think it was actually 2016, maybe it was 2015, I don't remember. But yeah, it was the very first time where I basically got into a stage to interact with people, so very important for me. And we go all the way through to 2023, where we are right now. So this is my career summary. You can see, I see activities in white, EM activities in green. If we sort by start date the activities, we have this. And so what does this mean? It's basically a mess. It's a mix of everything. It's been working out for me. I can kind of cheat because, of course, everyone can do side projects, but as I have roles with Sphere, I'm growing with Sphere, they have confidence in me, so they are giving more responsibility. And I also have roles with the clients. It just turns out right now I have grown on both sides, got bigger responsibility as an EM at the client and as an IC at Sphere. I think it's still okay for me to manage both because I really enjoy doing both. I was really sad when I was not an EM anymore at Sphere because I had my team and I really enjoyed taking care of them and really caring for them. But I could find that later on at the client. So yeah, so it works for me that way. So in conclusion, what does this mean for you? As you can see, actually, I was not waiting to get promoted to actually be doing stuff that was related to the position that I wanted. And basically, I just went with the flow. I just wanted to help people. I saw opportunities of stuff that I could develop, so I just went for it. And actually, I can say when I got the role of senior staff at Sphere last year, it just made sense. People say, oh, you're a GD, you're very active in the community. It makes sense. You do a lot of very highly technical projects for a very short time with the clients. It just makes sense. So it's natural. And what I really can encourage you is to be really aware of your current skills, either tech or soft, and assess if they are compatible with your current position. But it turns out that a lot of companies, I know in France or in Europe, don't have a career path yet, so you actually don't know. So I encourage you to talk with your manager to maybe work on a career path with them, and maybe even documenting yourself. There's so much resources out there that you can inspire yourself on. And the danger of not doing so is being frustrated because you don't know if you belong, you don't know if you're doing the right stuff. We could see that for me, if you go back here, I was doing stuff on the IC side, on the EM side. I was happy with what I was doing, but I'm not going to lie. There were a lot of moments of big frustration for me because I thought, okay, I'm doing all of this, but I'm not even a manager. I'm doing all of that, but I don't have something that says to me, okay, you're really important at Sphere as an IC. So on this path, there was a lot of frustration. And the last thing that I wanted to say is that for either track, even for the IC one, the tech one, we tend to neglect the soft skills, the interpersonate skills. Really, of course, it's essential, it's primordial for the EM track, but in order to evolve in your career, in order to have more and more impact, you have to be working with people, you have to be managing conflict, you have to be convincing people to maybe adopt a new technology, a new architecture, so it's really important to work in your soft skill as well, even if you are an IC. So that's it for me. Thank you.